As always, timestamps have been provided, and be sure to check out my new React channel down below where we cover more videos like this. Enjoy the video.
Disguised Aliens draws from ancient myths of changelings and modern fears of body snatching. These otherworldly imposters allegedly leave electromagnetic signatures at locations where people feel mysteriously drained of energy. These energy-draining zones cluster around places with high human activity and emotional intensity: sports stadiums, concerts, and political rallies. People who frequently visit these locations report chronic fatigue, personality changes, and memory gaps, possible signs of alien interference. Crystalline structures found buried at these sites supposedly collect harvested human energy. These crystals share molecular patterns with rare meteorites, suggesting non-Earth origins. Those who spend significant time near these zones sometimes display subtle physical changes, altered facial features, different walking styles, or new mannerisms. Friends and family sense something is off, but can't explain why. The theory connects to historical accounts of hollow people, individuals who seemed empty, as if something else wore their skin. Medical records of these cases show unusual cellular activity, suggesting an external energy source sustaining their bodies. Weather patterns around suspected alien incubation sites often form perfect geometric shapes with faint pulsing lights at night, possibly signals to something watching from orbit. The Pictographic Communication theory connects ancient writing systems to modern AI resistance. Ancient scripts like Egyptian hieroglyphs and Chinese characters may have been more than just record-keeping tools. They might have been designed to protect human thought from machine surveillance. These picture-based writing systems appeared almost simultaneously across different civilizations. Despite no known contact between these cultures, their scripts share unusual similarities in basic shapes and meanings. Researchers have found complex mathematical patterns within these symbols that resemble blind spots in today's computer vision systems. These writing systems spread rapidly across societies, suggesting an urgent need rather than natural language evolution. This unusual speed hints at some external pressure driving people toward pictographic communication. Certain pictograph combinations appear consistently in texts about rebellion, secrets, and hidden knowledge. These specific symbol groupings create visual patterns that modern AI systems struggle to process, similar to how CAPTCHA uses distorted text to block automated scanning. Many pictographic scripts contain seemingly unnecessary variations and redundancies that mirror modern adversarial patterns used to confuse machine learning systems. This raises questions about whether ancient peoples faced similar technological threats. The enduring power of these symbols continues today, with modern Chinese and Japanese still using thousands of pictographic characters despite simpler alternatives. Some theorists suggest this persistence indicates these scripts serve as a backup system, a proven way for humans to communicate if machine oversight ever returns. Soul perception theory suggests that spiritual entities exist on a separate plane where they see human souls as beacons of varying brightness. Similar to radio signals, souls emit different levels of spiritual energy. Some shine brightly in the spirit realm, while others are barely visible. Records show mediums and sensitives often describe spirits interacting with humans in similar ways. Certain people appear to glow with inner light, while others seem dim or invisible to supernatural beings. This aligns with ancient texts describing individuals with particularly bright souls that attracted spiritual attention. Studies of paranormal encounters reveal patterns where the same people repeatedly experience supernatural events while others never do, despite being in identical situations. These spiritually visible individuals often report feeling drained afterward, as if their soul's energy was being used for communication. Many cultures independently developed similar concepts about soul strength affecting spirit interactions. From Japanese Rikon to Egyptian Kei, historical sources describe souls varying in power and visibility to the spirit world, suggesting this understanding comes from consistent supernatural observations rather than cultural exchange. Even skeptical paranormal researchers have noted that certain subjects show significantly higher rates of spirit contact regardless of their beliefs or experience with the supernatural. This suggests some humans have an inherent quality, making them more detectable to entities beyond our normal perception. Transhuman desensitization is about AI systems being used to help people overcome normal human empathy. The theory suggests military and intelligence groups have secret training programs where people interact with ultra-realistic AI humans. These digital environments supposedly allow users to gradually become comfortable with disturbing scenarios they'd normally find unacceptable. Some participants reportedly struggled to tell the difference between real humans and AI after spending enough time in these programs, creating an emotional distance that makes difficult actions easier to perform. The concept has roots in psychological research from the 1970s that used basic computer simulations, though these studies were allegedly shut down and classified. AI ethics experts have pointed out similarities between this theoretical training and increasing emotional detachment in certain military operations. Some insiders claim these empathy override programs deliberately recondition human emotional responses to maintain effectiveness regardless of the human impact of their actions. The Babel true meaning theory explains how the famous Bible story might actually describe a cosmic event. Ancient texts suggest the tower's destruction went beyond creating language barriers. It may have been a fundamental splitting of human reality. Evidence from theological studies indicates confounding speech could refer to dividing reality itself. Original Hebrew texts contain words with spatial and dimensional meanings rather than just linguistic ones. Similar stories exist across many cultures, describing when humans lived among the stars or existed in many worlds at once. These tales appear on different continents and predate known contact between civilizations. Archaeological digs at possible Babel sites have uncovered unexplainable radiation patterns and magnetic anomalies. Metal fragments in these layers show isotope ratios matching meteorites, suggesting potential space travel technology. Ancient Sumerian tablets describe humans being sorted into vessels and scattered across the Great Dark, using terminology found in astronomical documents rather than migration records. Some Dead Sea Scroll fragments contain images of structures reaching into multiple overlapping circles, with warnings about the Great Division. These same symbols appear in caves thousands of miles apart, all dating to roughly the same period. Spiritual diet reveals a sinister theory about living without physical nourishment. While some claim to survive on light and spiritual energy alone, darker conspiracies suggest powerful elites have developed methods to consume human spiritual essence directly. Records show numerous missing persons cases where victims had no physical injuries, yet appeared mysteriously drained of vitality. Evidence connects these disappearances to remote compounds owned by wealthy individuals, featuring specialized meditation chambers and ritual spaces. Ancient texts from Egyptian and Tibetan traditions reportedly describe techniques for extracting life force from subjects, willing or unwilling. Researchers noted that many historical breatharians or fasting mystics were surrounded by unexplained deaths in their communities. These spiritual leaders remained healthy while followers grew weak, suggesting an energy transfer rather than divine sustenance. Declassified government documents from the 1970s hint at experiments exploring how to sustain subjects without food through harvested vital essence from others. Several prominent business leaders and celebrities have been linked to exclusive advanced spiritual nutrition programs that maintain strict secrecy about their actual practices. Former members of these groups describe witnessing disturbing rituals where participants seem to physically drain energy from volunteers, leaving them in catatonic states before transferring them to private medical facilities officially diagnosed with rare nutritional disorders. Simulation prison theory suggests our reality serves as a cosmic correctional facility where consciousnesses from an advanced utopian society endure temporary exile. The digital bars of this metaphysical jail cell might explain the seemingly random nature of suffering and misfortune that plagues human existence. Records indicate peculiar quantum phenomena and the mathematical precision of physical laws could be telltale signs of artificial constraints, like invisible walls in a digital maze. Just as modern prisons use controlled environments to rehabilitate inmates, our simulated world might be carefully calibrated to teach specific lessons through hardship and limitation. Ancient philosophical ideas about reality as illusion or punishment, from Plato's cave to Buddhist concepts of earthly existence, suggest our world could be a form of spiritual training. Each challenge faced might be a carefully crafted rehabilitation program, complete with karmic consequences and growth opportunities. Patterns in human consciousness, particularly during near-death experiences and deep meditation, hint at memories or awareness of existence beyond our current reality. These glimpses might represent momentary glitches in the simulation's containment protocols. Mathematical patterns in fundamental forces and constants appear suspiciously programmed, as if designed to maintain specific limitations while still allowing for personal growth, similar to how prison architects balance security with rehabilitation potential. Cultic rite of passages suggests that certain crimes worldwide follow hidden ritualistic patterns. Criminal acts with unusual similarities in method, timing, and location appear too organized to be random coincidence. Captured perpetrators often show unnatural calmness, speaking of completing tasks rather than expressing normal criminal motivations. Some carry strange symbols or arrange crime scenes in ritual-like patterns. Subtle connections link suspects across different continents, recurring numbers in case files, similar geometric patterns at crime scenes, and crimes timed to match ancient calendrical systems. Law enforcement has noticed crime clusters during specific lunar phases or celestial events. Many perpetrators have no criminal history or clear motive, and some vanish completely afterward, leaving unusually clean crime scenes. These incidents share striking similarities with historical secret society initiations, where specific acts were required to prove loyalty and advance within the organization. Financial investigations reveal complex support networks behind these crimes, with untraceable funding sources and sophisticated money laundering that exceeds typical criminal capabilities. Stability fields are areas where reality becomes increasingly distorted at extreme heights and depths above or below Earth's surface. Reports of missing aircraft, vanishing mountaintops, and underground anomalies suggest a pattern of physical instability as one moves away from sea level. Strange electromagnetic readings have been detected along high-altitude flight paths and within deep cave systems, indicating measurable shifts in physical properties. Pilots document equipment malfunctions and visual distortions, while cave explorers experience time dilation and spatial warping deep underground. When mapped, these events form curved bands of instability that strengthen with distance from sea level. Interestingly, these bands align with ancient sites where cultures warned of thin places between worlds. Missing persons cases increase dramatically in these unstable zones, with witnesses describing victims who seem to phase or glitch out of existence. Those who return sometimes have no memory of disappearing, while others recall spending years in strange places during what observers experienced as only minutes. Research teams have observed that technology behaves predictably within these fields. GPS coordinates jump erratically, radio signals contain impossible frequencies, and digital cameras occasionally capture glimpses of somewhere else. The Antediluvian Society represents a shadowy group of flood survivors who preserved advanced pre-flood technology. Their escape plan wasn't just about saving animal species, but rescuing entire libraries, machinery, and knowledge systems from the catastrophic deluge. Architectural mysteries support this theory, with unexplainable similarities appearing in ancient structures across disconnected civilizations, suggesting shared design origins. The precisely cut massive stone blocks found in Peru, Egypt, and Cambodia demonstrate engineering precision that challenges modern capabilities. These sites also exhibit unusual radiation signatures and magnetic irregularities. Ancient texts contain references to sky cities and light makers that align with this concept. The Book of Enoch describes advanced beings teaching humans metallurgy, cosmetics, and astronomy, potentially not divine messengers, but technologically sophisticated ancestors. Unexplained light patterns and energy readings detected in isolated mountain regions lead some theorists to believe these ancient survivors established hidden communities in remote valleys and peaks. The legendary kingdoms of Tibet, like Shambhala, might actually represent these secretive enclaves. According to this theory, this advanced society deliberately maintains its secrecy, observing humanity's gradual rebuilding while sustaining their civilization with technology we would consider magical. Modern UFO sightings and discoveries of anomalous ancient artifacts might actually be encounters with these original survivors and their preserved pre-flood technologies. Universal hermeneutics connects all religions through a common divine origin. Across cultures that never interacted, we find matching symbols and stories, from flood narratives to virgin birth accounts, while ancient texts reveal shared moral principles and ritual patterns spanning different continents and time periods. Studies discovered that mystics from various faiths describe nearly identical spiritual experiences, despite being separated by vast distances and centuries. These shared elements include encounters with bright light, feelings of cosmic unity, and meetings with divine entities that conform to their cultural expectations. Evidence emerged of common sacred geometry in religious buildings worldwide. The same mathematical proportions appear in structures built by isolated cultures, suggesting they accessed a universal template of divine knowledge. Research shows identical effects on brain patterns during meditation among Buddhist monks, Christian contemplatives, and Sufi mystics. Brain scans reveal the same regions activate during deep prayer and meditation, suggesting humans have an innate pathway to transcendence. Scholars have tracked how religious symbols transform across cultures while maintaining their essential meanings. The cross, circle, and triangle appear in sacred artwork globally, changing in form but consistently representing concepts like unity, eternity, and divine power. Comparing sacred texts reveals matching fundamental teachings: practice kindness, pursue truth, serve others. While the specific words and narratives differ, the core message remains consistent, like different languages describing the same reality. The Dead Sea Scrolls and other ancient documents suggest the existence of mystery schools that taught this unity long ago. Their writings indicate they viewed all religions as different entrances to the same divine space, each designed for different types of seekers. Prophecy counteraction agencies operate secretly within global power structures to prevent predictions that challenge their preferred future timeline. This conspiracy theory traces its origins to ancient Rome, where historical documents suggest priests modified prophecies to align with the Senate's agenda. Modern evidence points to organizations dedicating significant resources to monitor prophets, psychics, and fortune tellers worldwide. These groups allegedly maintain databases of predictions categorized by probability and potential threat, similar to how intelligence agencies classify security risks. Investigators have noted suspicious patterns of prophecy interference surrounding major global events. When mystics predict troubling political outcomes, they frequently disappear from the public eye or suddenly contradict their earlier forecasts. Their online presence vanishes, their web properties go offline, and their scheduled appearances are canceled. Leaked documents from various policy organizations reference specialized units focused on narrative adjustment and destiny realignment. These operatives reportedly use both sophisticated technology and traditional approaches, monitoring psychic phone services or paying off carnival fortune tellers. The most convincing evidence emerged from a former Las Vegas casino employee who witnessed government agents shutting down an unusually accurate tarot card reader. Rather than detaining her, they recruited her. She disappeared the following day but left behind a mysterious message. Some futures must stay buried. Supernatural detection mechanisms suggest the government has built secret systems throughout our daily world to find folks with strange powers. Papers from old military files show projects since the 1970s that put weird tech in normal things we see each day to spot people who might have special skills. Streetlights play a key role in this hidden network. When someone with powers walks by, the lights may turn off or blink, not from bad wiring, but as a way to flag that person for those who watch. The light posts send data to secret spots without the person ever knowing they've been found. The hunt for special people goes beyond just lights. Water pipes under our feet have tools that can sense if someone can move water with their mind. Cell towers do more than help phone calls. They scan for brainwaves that might show someone can read thoughts or send messages without speaking. A man who once worked for these programs told how bus stops and train floors have heat sensors and weight plates that can tell if someone is too strong, too fast, or gives off strange body heat. When the system flags someone, teams move in to watch them more closely. Money trails show odd spending on what they call passive biometric infrastructure that has no clear use for making towns safer or better. When asked, those in charge make up stories about helping traffic flow or checking power use. The web of watching eyes now spreads to our phones and computers too. Some apps and websites have hidden code that tracks how we use them, looking for signs that we might know things before they happen or think in ways most people don't. A big clue came when they fixed power lines in the east part of the country in 2008. Workers found strange parts that had no real use for power. Those who spoke up said these parts made up a huge net for finding special people across many states. Once they think they found someone with powers, they set up fake chance events to see how the person reacts. If the tests show real skills, men in plain clothes make contact, and the person often is never seen by friends or family again. Fluoride is believed by some conspiracy theorists to be a deliberate poisoning of the water supply. This theory often begins with Dr. Masaru Emoto's controversial water experiments, where he claimed water forms different crystal patterns when exposed to different emotions and words. His photographs supposedly showed beautiful crystals forming near positive words, while ugly patterns appeared near negative ones. Some believers suggest these experiments prove water has consciousness or memory. The conspiracy claims that government fluoridation programs were never truly about dental health. Instead, theorists point to suspicious timing, noting early fluoridation coincided with atomic research programs. Some proponents believe fluoride was deliberately chosen to disrupt water's natural energy, or life force, concepts they connect to traditional ideas like prana in Vedic traditions or ki in Chinese philosophy. The theory gets darker when suggesting authorities knew about water's spiritual properties and intentionally used fluoride for its deadening effect on water's vibrations, potentially limiting humanity's spiritual awareness. More extreme versions claim the pattern of global fluoridation specifically targets regions where ancient water blessing traditions were strongest, supposedly to sever humanity's connection to water's living essence. While mainstream science dismisses these ideas, believers point to alleged differences in crystal patterns between fluoridated and natural water as evidence of fluoride's disruption of water's natural intelligence. Leyline Shift is when Earth's magnetic poles move, potentially disrupting ancient energy pathways across the planet. Throughout history, our planet's magnetic poles have flipped several times, leaving evidence in rocks and minerals. These pole shifts might affect ley lines, invisible energy paths that supposedly connect sacred places around the world. Many ancient monuments line up perfectly along these proposed energy routes. During the last major pole shift about 780,000 years ago, Earth's magnetic field dropped to just 5% of today's strength. Some believe this weakening could force ley lines to realign with new magnetic poles. Scientists know Earth's crust can move independently from its core. If this happens while ley lines shift, these energy paths might tear away from their anchor points, releasing powerful forces across the planet. Ancient structures like stone circles and pyramids might have been built to stabilize these energy lines. Their builders may have understood these periodic shifts and tried to prevent worldwide chaos. Unusual animal migrations, electronic malfunctions, and human population movements could be early warning signs. As the leyline network becomes more unstable, the theory suggests we'll see increasing disruptions, eventually leading to massive energy releases that could reshape Earth's surface. Artificial conspiracy pipelines are systems where powerful groups intentionally create and spread outlandish conspiracy theories to distract from actual corruption and power abuse. This strategy traces back to Cold War disinformation, when intelligence agencies would mix absurd stories with real leaks to discredit whistleblowers by associating them with bizarre claims. Social media algorithms worsen this problem by gradually pushing users from reasonable skepticism toward extreme positions. Someone researching banking regulations might eventually find themselves reading about lizard people controlling the financial system. Many popular conspiracy communities show suspicious patterns in how new theories emerge, especially when real scandals break, and a flood of increasingly bizarre explanations appears to draw attention from proven facts. A leaked 2008 marketing document revealed strategies to redirect activist energy by planting progressively more fantastical versions of legitimate concerns, making genuine critics seem unreliable through association with extreme beliefs. Demonic video games originates from the strange intersection of ancient superstitions about technology and modern parental anxieties. Throughout history, technological innovations like Edison's attempts to communicate with spirits through electronic devices established an early connection between the supernatural and electronics. When video games entered homes in the 1980s, concerned parents watched as their children became entranced by these digital worlds, prompting religious groups to suggest sinister influences were at work. Players and developers have documented unusual glitches, characters moving independently, mysteriously altered save files, and unexplained images appearing on screen. While most people recognize these as standard software bugs, conspiracy theorists interpret them as evidence of supernatural interference. Studies on gaming addiction have noted how players lose themselves for hours, entering almost hypnotic states and forming powerful emotional connections to virtual environments. This led to theories that games function as gateways to demonic pocket dimensions designed to capture human awareness. The conspiracy suggests each virtual act of violence or wrongdoing leaves an actual spiritual impact. Some religious websites allegedly track sin statistics from popular games, claiming these digital transgressions empower watching demons. Controversies surrounding violent video games are cited as proof of demonic influence on player behavior. Conspiracy theorists claim to have found occult symbols and significant number patterns in game code, suggesting the fundamental components of gaming, from random generation to AI, function through demonic rather than computational processes. Gaming forums contain accounts of players experiencing dreams where game worlds seemed unnervingly real and characters possessed knowledge about players' personal lives. These stories are presented as evidence that games create liminal spaces where demons can observe and interact with humans. Occult researchers point out similarities between certain game designs and traditional magical symbols. This has spawned theories that gaming consoles themselves serve as summoning devices, with standard gaming inputs secretly forming parts of larger occult rituals. Sleeper cell virus theory stems from unsettling tales of hidden triggers buried in mundane files. Research points to patents from the 1960s about using visual patterns to alter brainwaves. The idea draws from MKUltra records, where the CIA tested ways to control minds through subtle cues. Files marked eyes only sparked interest when watchers noted odd patterns in their layouts. The spacing between words, image placement, and even font choices seem to follow strict rules beyond normal formatting guides. Digital experts found code chunks in top brass memos that served no clear purpose. These bits didn't crash systems or spread, they just sat there waiting, like a sleeper agent at their day job. Test subjects who viewed certain files reported headaches, mood shifts, and lost time. Most curious were those who couldn't remember seeing anything strange. Their brain scans showed unusual activity in areas linked to suggestibility. Signs of these triggers kept popping up in leaked documents worldwide. Each followed the same pattern, meaningless to those who knew what to dodge, but perfectly placed to catch an untrained eye. The scariest part wasn't the prospect of being controlled, but how simple it seemed. Just like our brains dodge a punch before we think about it, these visuals could slip past our mental defenses and nest in our minds. Some techs swear they've cracked the code, pointing to repeating symbols that match old mind control research. Others say that's exactly what they want you to think. The real triggers hide in plain sight, where no one would think to look. Secret atrocities cause unconscious collective trauma across humanity. Research suggests that even when horrific acts occur in secret, they affect the emotional state of people worldwide. Studies show unexplained increases in depression, anxiety, and emotional numbness in populations completely unaware of hidden traumatic events. Researchers noticed patterns of social disruption during classified military operations. Communities thousands of miles from covert action zones experienced spikes in domestic violence, substance abuse, and general unrest, pointing to an unseen connection between minds. Different cultures displayed synchronized emotional responses following classified experiments. Brainwave studies revealed matching patterns in test subjects who had no knowledge of secret operations, suggesting a shared field of consciousness. When violence occurred in isolated settings, observers in distant locations showed measurable drops in empathy. These changes persisted despite observers having zero awareness of the original events, like emotional ripples through our collective unconscious. This combines the feelings autosuppression and field consciousness theories, suggesting that secret atrocities desensitize Earth's population as a whole, potentially explaining rising global apathy and social problems, despite most people being consciously unaware of these hidden horrors. NPC Simulations refers to the theory that some humans may actually be artificially controlled entities. People who believe this point to individuals who seem to follow predictable patterns, repeating the same phrases and movements daily as if programmed. Supporters cite the rise of empty social media content, millions of accounts posting generic, repetitive material that feels artificially generated. This connects to dead internet theory, which suggests most online content comes from bots rather than real people. Believers highlight glitches in crowds, where multiple individuals perform identical actions simultaneously, suggesting shared programming. They note how certain people seem to disappear when not directly observed, similar to background characters in video games. Research allegedly shows speech and movement patterns matching AI behavior more than natural human habits. The theory proposes these NPCs either contain artificial intelligence or receive instructions through implanted chips. To test this idea, some believers ask random strangers unusual questions to identify scripted responses, claiming certain individuals give identical answers or appear to malfunction when faced with unexpected situations. Medical evidence supposedly includes identical anomalies in bone structure or organ placement across different people, suggesting synthetic bodies. Control methods are theorized to range from subtle influence through social media to direct manipulation via brain implants, both serving the same purpose: artificial intelligence controlling everyday life. Apocalypse conditioning is the theory that powerful organizations deliberately allow disasters to occur as tests of human evolutionary potential. Some researchers claim to have found patterns of governments encouraging population growth in areas known for natural catastrophes. After major disasters strike, pharmaceutical companies mysteriously appear in affected regions, conducting genetic research amid the chaos. These labs often emerge with surprising speed following earthquakes and floods. Declassified documents mention a 1950s program called Operation Natural Selection that studied how humans adapt to extreme conditions. The program's unusual focus on tracking genetic changes in survivors has raised suspicions. Critics point out that disaster relief operations frequently collect blood and DNA samples beyond medical necessity. These biological materials reportedly disappear into unmarked facilities. Before several major catastrophes, including the 2004 tsunami, Hurricane Katrina, and the Haiti earthquake, world leaders made strange references to necessary losses and stronger futures in public speeches. Documents leaked from private think tanks discuss evolutionary pressure points, suggesting humanity requires periodic reduction to evolve properly. These papers supposedly match the format of confirmed government documents. Some theorists believe our growing global population might be intentional, creating a larger test group for whatever comes next. Like farmers fattening livestock before slaughter, our increasing numbers could simply be preparation for the next phase of human evolution.